She said, "You're their dad now, so pay up." A week after our wedding. Then she filed for divorce and demanded half my house. So I exposed her past and walked out free. I'll start from the beginning, because looking back, maybe all the signs were there. Maybe I just didn't want to see them. I'm 35, a software engineer living in North Carolina. Financially stable, decent house, no kids, never married before. I've had long-term relationships, but nothing that ever made me want to settle. That changed when I met Melissa. She was 33, divorced, 2 kids, boys, ages 5 and 8. We met through a mutual friend at a backyard birthday party. She had this energy, smart, funny, grounded. And yeah, beautiful too. We started talking, and I'll be honest, I was a little surprised how quickly we clicked. Now, I know some people would hesitate dating someone with kids, but she was very upfront about her situation. Said she was done with drama, just wanted someone stable, respectful, and honest. I appreciated the transparency. We dated for about 9 months. During that time, I met her kids, helped with homework, even took them on weekend trips. Her ex-husband was barely around, according to her. Just paid minimal support and showed up once a month, maybe. Our relationship wasn't perfect. Nobody's is. Sometimes she'd get upset if I didn't want to pay for every little thing for the boys, or if I said something about being tired after work. But I thought that was just the pressure of single motherhood. I wanted to be supportive, not judgmental. Eventually, I proposed. We had a small wedding, nothing fancy, just a courthouse ceremony with dinner after. I didn't ask for a prenup. I know. I thought we were building a life together, and honestly, I didn't want to insult her. She'd already told me her ex had treated her like a kept woman, and she was proud to be independent. Well, the honeymoon phase didn't last even a week. 3 days after the wedding, she sat me down and said she expected more support. I asked her what she meant, and she said now that we were married, I should take full responsibility for the boys, financially. That meant private school enrollment, new clothes for the summer, and upgrading to a bigger SUV. I was stunned. I calmly reminded her we had just merged finances, and we hadn't agreed on that kind of spending yet. I told her I was happy to contribute, but that we needed to budget together. She didn't like that. Within 2 days, she was cold and distant. Started sleeping in the guest room, told the boys I was pulling away, and accused me of being controlling. I was shocked. It was like I had married a completely different person. Then came the bombshell. A week after we got married, literally 7 days, she served me divorce papers. Not only that, but she was asking for half my house, half my savings, and child support for her kids. Kids I didn't adopt. Kids who already had a biological father. I couldn't believe what I was reading. We had only been married a week, and now she wanted a legal judgment that would entangle me with her and her children for years. I felt like I was in a bad Lifetime movie. After Melissa served me divorce papers, my mind went completely blank for about 5 minutes. I just stared at the envelope in disbelief. My hands were shaking. We hadn't even unpacked our wedding gifts yet, and here she was, demanding half my house, a share of my savings, and child support for her 2 boys, who weren't even legally tied to me. Let me break it down. We had only been married for 1 week, and yet her lawyer was filing for spousal support, claiming she had reduced income potential due to homemaker duties and marital expectations. It didn't stop there. She also filed for equitable division of all marital and premarital assets, including my house, which I bought 6 years ago and paid off 2 years before I even met her. The worst part? She was also asking for temporary custody of her kids and demanding I pay child support, claiming that I had assumed a parental role. That blew my mind. I never adopted her children. We never had legal guardianship paperwork. Her ex-husband, the kid's real father, was alive and technically paying child support. So how the hell could I be responsible for her kids financially? I hired a lawyer the very next day. She was an older woman, very experienced in family law. When she read the case, her first words were, "This looks like a textbook setup. I've seen it before. Someone targets a financially stable person, gets a quick marriage, and tries to cash out through court." I felt sick. Over the next few weeks, things got worse. Melissa moved back in with her parents and blocked me on everything. Her lawyer started sending aggressive demands, interim support, urgent financial disclosures, emergency mediation. She also filed for a restraining order, not because I did anything, but to block me from the house while she tried to argue she had residency rights. I was floored. This woman who told me she loved me 3 weeks ago was now accusing me of being a financial abuser. My lawyer pushed back hard. She showed documentation that I had paid for everything in the relationship: rent, food, school supplies, vacations. I even bought the boys' Christmas presents worth over $1,000 last year. But again, none of that mattered legally without a prenup or adoption paperwork. We found out something worse during discovery. Melissa had done this before, sort of. Her ex-husband, the boy's father, had faced similar tactics. They had married quickly, had 2 kids, and within a year, she filed for divorce demanding the house, alimony, and full custody. The difference? He was the father. But now, she was trying to use my fatherly behavior as legal ammunition. She had screenshots of texts where I referred to the kids as my boys, photos from a school event where I signed in as parent, and even an email where I discussed a family budget with her. Her legal team twisted those into evidence that I had intended to take on a parental role. My lawyer wasn't fooled, but she warned me. Judges can go either way in these cases. You need to prepare for the worst. We filed a motion to dismiss all claims to my assets and challenge the child support request outright. But emotionally, I was unraveling. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. My coworkers noticed I was slipping. I felt humiliated, used, and legally cornered. At one point, I actually asked myself, did I bring this on myself? Was I so desperate to start a family that I ignored all the early red flags? The court date was set for 6 weeks later. And during that time, I discovered one final betrayal that would completely shatter me and possibly save me in court. Would you call this marriage a scam? Or did I just make a terrible choice and trust the wrong person? As the court date approached, I lived in a constant state of anxiety. I couldn't focus at work, I barely left the house, and I replayed every conversation with Melissa in my head trying to figure out what was real and what was manipulation. Then something happened that changed the entire trajectory of the case. A week before the hearing, my lawyer got a message from a private investigator we had hired, not to spy, but to dig into public records, prior legal filings, and anything else that might help. What he found was chilling. Melissa wasn't just divorced once. She had been married twice before me. Her first marriage? A guy in his early 20s from Texas. She filed for divorce just 2 months in. No kids, but he had accused her of financial abuse in the court records. He claimed she drained his savings and left him in debt. The second was the father of her 2 boys, who, according to documents, had also accused her of using the legal system to get custody and extract long-term child support, even though she had lied about his visitation rights. It was a pattern. Get married. Build emotional trust fast. File for divorce. Target assets and support. But it didn't end there. That same week, I got an email from a man named Daniel. He said he was Melissa's ex-boyfriend, the guy she dated between her second divorce and meeting me. He found me through a Reddit post I'd written about my situation on an anonymous account I didn't think anyone would trace. Daniel said he had gone through something eerily similar. Melissa pushed him to move in, use joint accounts, pay for her kids' school and gifts, and when he resisted, she dumped him and tried to file a civil claim for domestic partnership financial promises. Thankfully, it didn't hold up in court. He warned me. She knows how to walk the line, just close enough to the law to exploit it, but not enough to get charged with anything. Armed with this information, my lawyer was able to build a solid case. She presented the evidence of the previous marriages, the ex-boyfriend's affidavit, and financial documents showing I had been the one consistently contributing throughout the relationship. We filed a motion to strike her spousal support claims based on bad faith, arguing that the marriage was entered under false pretenses. And then, on the day of the hearing, Melissa didn't even show up. Her lawyer requested a continuance, but the judge denied it. Instead, the court reviewed our evidence and ultimately ruled in my favor. The marriage was dissolved. No spousal support, no child support, no division of assets. And best of all, the judge issued a warning on record that any future attempts by Melissa to file for support under similar circumstances could be seen as abuse of process. It was over. I walked out of that courthouse with mixed emotions. Relief, mostly, but also sadness. I didn't just lose money or time. I lost trust. I lost the version of myself that believed in the instant family fairy tale. That believed in her. Now, 6 months later, I'm still recovering. I go to therapy. I've joined online groups for men who've been through similar situations, and the stories, they're more common than people think. I'm sharing mine not for pity, but for awareness. If someone reading this is dating a person who pushes too hard, too fast, listen to your gut. If someone gets uncomfortable when you talk about financial boundaries, that's not love. That's control. If you feel like you're rescuing someone from their past, ask yourself who's really being saved. So, was I naive? Was this just a perfect storm of bad luck? Or was I targeted all along? I'd really like to know what you think. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.